Buckle up and welcome to I Need a Hobby, a podcast. I'm this week's host, Andrew, and to my left, he recently found out that the speed limit numbers are numbers that you have to be going under, not over. Alex.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thanks.
Okay.
How's the family?
And to my right, he's got a fast car. Chris.
Hey.
Is that a reference to the song or just his car?
Yeah.
I was hoping for at least like one more line.
I remember.
At least sing it like it's a little ditty.
I had it all
He's got a
planned.
fast car. Chris. Like that.
Yeah.
He's got a fast car, and his name is Chris. How about that?
like that.
Yeah.
That's better.
My name is Chris. This is a podcast.
I don't like
need a
this
hobby.
podcast anymore.
I got a ticket out of this podcast.
Boom.
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 After hearing that.
All right,
right.
thanks. This is I Need a Hobby. Yeah, see you
Tell
next
the
week.
folks at home, not via song, what this podcast is about, for Christ's sake.
So this is a podcast where me, Chris, and Alex, we're three college grads. We work incredibly hard. Incredibly hard during
Slaving
the 9 to 5.
away, borderline.
Mm-hmm. And during the 5 to 9, you say we're slaving away during the 9 to 5. We're not sleeping away during the 5 to 9. No.
Shut up. Not for us.
No, we are, well, unless we do a sleeping episode, but that is not today.
Oh, God, that'd be nice.
I haven't slept in years.
Actually, that would be
It
a
is
good
like a
episode.
third of our life, right? However, we do challenges, hobbies, and activities every week, and we tell you guys about it. So,
I would do an episode on what's that, dreaming? You know,
Lucid
dreaming.
I would do an episode on lucid
that would
dreaming.
be fun, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be exciting.
Yeah, I've
'Cause
had
there's,
some
like,
lucid dreams before.
strategies. There's supposedly are strategies to get
One of my
yourself
friends in
lucid
high school, we talked about it in like AP Psych. He sat next to me in AP Psych, and he like got a book on everything. He was like, "Yeah, so I did like step 2." Like I remember it because it was very interesting. But he said step 2, I forget what step 1 was, but step 2 was like memorizing like a place, kind of like this one place that you would like kind of trick your brain into dreaming about, somewhere you don't go frequently or something. So then, if you just have any like you're training your brain, so when you see this place, you know, okay, I'm dreaming.
it's
Like
dreaming,
I'm
yeah.
there.
I feel
Yeah,
like the
I'm at this place.
ultimate hobbyist should get into something
Yeah,
like this.
yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like
So
I'm
true.
wasting 8 hours.
No,
or so
see,
of
I
my
was
day,
gonna
you know
say
what I
the
mean?
opposite. I feel like it would like actually kill me because
Like,
it would
you
like
could never stop.
sleep is when I could like
Yeah, you
finally
recharge.
relax and not stress out. I would be like, come on,
Let
I
your
got a
dreams go where they
lucid
may.
dream
It's the
this
most
time.
stressful part of your day. is
Yeah,
when
it's
you're,
now
you're
my
supposed to
sleep.
be chilling.
Yeah,
Man.
but I would try it because I've
Yeah.
read strategies where like you're supposed to like check up on yourself
Mm.
like once a day or something. Like, all right, let me count my fingers. Good. That's how I know I'm not dreaming. It's almost
Wow.
like an Inception thing with his little.
Oh, really?
spinning
a
thing.
token,
Alright.
yeah.
Good, I know that. So now in my dream, I'm gonna check up on myself, but then I'm gonna realize, oh, something's not right here.
Mm.
I must be dreaming. No, time to take flights or whatever you do when you're lucid dreaming.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you got airplane wings. You ever had airplane wings in a
In
dream?
a dream? No, one time I
think
had
I
a
have
dream
either.
where I was like sitting crisscross applesauce,
Mm-hmm.
and I like pumped my knees up and down,
Uh-huh.
and I took flight.
Wow.
Is that crazy?
That is pretty
That's
crazy.
crazy.
I had
That's
to
like
check- I
I
had
feel
to
like
check
that's the
myself.
ultimate state of meditation is when you're just so focused you can.
Whoa.
I've done it.
Pinch me, pinch me.
That's like step 30 in your
Yeah,
friend's
yeah,
book.
yeah. That's you're right.
All right.
Jeez.
Before we get into what this episode is about, before the podcast, Andrew, I want to bring this up because Andrew looked straight in her eyes and said, "I think I got tricked into paying $16 for bagels."
And we say this a lot on the podcast.
And now I
like,
got to know what it's
we
about.
say like,
Yeah.
"Oh, save that story for the pod," whatever. This was a literal. like,
live,
we
yeah.
cut straight from our conversation
Yeah,
into
like-
Basically,
this.
yeah.
Oh, grab the mics, grab the mics.
I was like, "Press record on this bad boy."
Yeah, guys, come over. I have to tell you a story, and then now all of a sudden, let's just do a whole podcast.
I'm not telling a story
while
these
you're
days
here.
unless I'm on mic getting paid for it.
I've had the thing is, I've had a theory that's been going on for years that Andrew is one of the biggest rubes around. If you got a con, if you want to dupe someone, you got to look for Andrew.
Yeah.
So when you said you paid $16 for a bagel, and you showed the size, you said it was one of those miniature bagels. I mean,
All right, so here's the story, guys. Not super exciting, but maybe it is. Basically, Chris and I, when we were in high school and beyond, we go to this bagel place. It's probably a local chain, but there is one
There's
in
a few
our
around the
town. It's
greater
called
Boston area.
Cafe Fresh Bagel.
One of my favorites. Great
It is
bagels.
good. Like the bagels are actually like really good. I think they're
Sure.
really huge, really leavened bread. You know,
Sure.
sorry about the
Sure.
Passover listeners, but you can
Yeah,
have
sure.
you can have this bagel later because I have a lot of them. Spoiler alert.
I might take one for the road.
But so I go to this place to get a bagel with cream cheese. Good start to my day before Easter. You know, let's get a bagel.
mm-hmm.
I don't know, just for fun.
What kind of? Do you go plain cream cheese or?
Yeah, chive cream cheese. Well, plain bagel, chive cream cheese. You
nice.
know, the works,
sounds
I like
great.
to call it. Just kidding.
Just the one.
Anyway, then so later after the initial order, the gentleman there, who
So
Chris and I.
This is probably like not even $4 order or something, right?
Oh, it's $4. It's $4.
Oh, okay,
That's
good.
the bagel with cream cheese. It comes into the story later. So Chris and I, we used to go there after runs in high school,
Yeah, it was kind
just
of
for fun. Like
local spot.
it's a local spot, and the guy there, Chris, how would you describe the head honcho?
I'd say
of
incredibly
Cafe Fresh.
friendly.
That's nice.
Maybe to a fault.
A strange guy
Yeah.
is I think what Chris was looking for.
Now
Yeah.
I feel bad we're alienating this stranger.
I mean, I
man.
love that guy. Every time I go in, he checks up on you. Hey, I've been here a while. How you doing? Like,
Yeah,
he knows who
He
I
probably
am, which
knows
is
you
cool.
better because you went there a bunch. But
He does. I'd say every woman who comes in, he makes some sort of remark that's probably not okay.
yeah, I think that's true as
Yikes.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
But anyway, today, or yesterday, I get my bagel, and he goes, it was late. It was like 3 p.m. and he's like, hey, can
That's a late bagel.
Yeah, I know. I really wanted it. I drove all the way for it, so I had to get it. And so he says like, hey, can you buy some bagels?
I also like how you said, get a good start to your day at 3 p.m., which sounds about right for you.
Yeah, well, I don't know exactly what happened, but
No, yeah.
I was up quite late.
Sure.
I got up quite late, but I got the bagel, okay, and then
You're thinking $4.
$4.
Perfect, what a deal.
not really, kind
$4
of expensive,
for
but
the works?
yeah,
That's a
it is
deal.
good. It is good. And he says, hey, it's the end of the day. Can I interest you in like purchasing a dozen bagels, and I'll throw in 6 for free? Is what he said. Like 18 bagels, and I was like, okay, how much? This is the truth. This is what happened. I said, how much? And he goes, $4. And I go, oh, okay, cool. $4. $4.
Psych!
For the words?
That's the price of my bagel and cream cheese. I had never said like. Maybe he thought I mean I know the dude. I'm pretty sure he was conning me basically, but he could have been thinking like his excuse could have been like, oh, I thought you were asking about the price of your the works bagel
Yeah.
because I didn't say anything about the dozen bagels for 6 or whatever.
Plus
So
6.
he says
Plus
dozen,
half a dozen.
dozen with 6, and yeah, so
bagel's
1.5
dozen, they call it.
a bagel's dozen, and I say. Oh, $4? Yeah, all right. 18 bagels.
This is gonna be an $8
I'm
thing.
thinking this is a
You're gonna walk out with 19 bagels and some cream cheese.
That's great.
I'm really excited. And then he goes, all right, you can get whatever flavors you want. And I'm like, all right, cool. I ended up going with no need to criticize, but this is what I did. I got
All plain.
12-bit plain and 6 cinnamon raisin. Okay, feeling good.
That's fine.
A little splurge, but plain, good. And then he goes, you know what, my friend? I'm going to give you even more. You're getting 6 more for free. And I'm like,
What?
man, this is a steal.
Wow.
2
Like,
dozen bagels.
I'm getting 2 dozen
That's
bagels
so
now
many bagels.
for $4. And I'm just like, yeah, well,
I
load
would
'em
I
up,
would have
load
said,
'em
you
up.
know what? I don't want the works anymore. I'll take
Just give me all your bagels.
I'll take 24 bagels if you don't mind.
So I was feeling great, and then goes to ring me out, and he goes like, "All right, and that'll be $16." And I was like,
huh?
$16? Like I walked in for a bagel with cream cheese. I don't know what happened here, but I'm just like, okay. And I'm realizing as I'm checking out, I'm realizing like, yeah, okay, this is
He's schnookered you.
this is not good. Yeah, and that's it. I mean, I was
You-
tricked.
Was there ever a thought of saying
said
anything?
okay.
Or no?
You said okay. I am a rube, so sure, that's fine.
I felt like
So you knew as you were paying how much you were paying?
yes.
Okay.
I felt like I was the one that messed up.
Sure.
And I felt like that because of that, I owed it to him to follow through with the order, even though I think he tricked me.
What-
My
did you-
favorite part of the story is 24 is an insane amount of bagels
that's
for
so
one
good.
human to have.
You can freeze them. You can freeze
The
them.
most
That's
hilarious
fair.
part is that the deal is unreal. I got 50 cents a bagel. These are huge bagels.
Yeah.
These aren't the mini ones you were talking about
yeah.
earlier.
That's
Alex.
true.
about
That
the
is a
big
good
deals.
deal.
These are
That is a good deal.
It's certainly a good deal, but you're right. It's far too many bagels for
$16,
a single
it's
man.
good.
For a
You're saying.
family.
That's what he said. He's like, feed your family for Easter.
I mean,
And
it
was
is
like,
Easter, yeah.
The thing
I
is,
think we have other things planned, but
If-
okay, if you insist.
if you're going to a bakery or whatever this place is at night, at well, you said 3 p.m.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
What is he giving away bagels for at 3 p.m.? I thought it was.
I
like,
think they shut down around then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then
so it's
yeah,
probably
at
end of the
closing,
day.
he should be giving you those for free.
That's true.
You shouldn't have had to pay anything. It
should
should
have
have been
bartered.
$4 and an extra 6 bagels.
Because I remember what they did in high school. They probably still do it. Is like they would sell day-old bagels.
Oh, love
It
it.
would be a good deal, but it would still not as good as the deal I got. It was like 6 for 6 probably.
It's like hour-old bagels.
Yeah,
Crazy.
but for what I got, it was like 50 cents for 24 bagels. An insane deal. However, I went in to get a bagel with cream
Yeah,
cheese
that's
true.
and
Yeah.
left paying
That's one of those-
He got
$16.
you.
One of those
Gotcha.
great like stories. Like I feel like that happens a lot. People say like, "Oh, I got such a good deal on these pants." Like they were originally 100 and now
Yeah,
they're 30.
yeah.
It's like, did you need the pants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I went
Pants
to
is a bad example, I feel like.
I went to a liquor store the other day, and I didn't know what I was gonna get, so I'm
Mm.
just like staring at the beers, and this guy walks by me, and he says like, "Hey, we just got this beer in. It's from Maine. It's
Are we
really
telling this
good." And I was like, "All right, sure, yeah, I'll have that." And he goes, "It's 4 beers. I paid over $20 for
Yeah,
it.
that's
So
ridiculous.
expensive."
Were
And
they
I was
12
like-
ounces too?
They were the bigger cans.
Okay,
So
yeah,
not
I mean,
as
like,
bad, but still, like-
bad, yeah.
I would pay like $16 and be like, "This is a little much."
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
over $20, and I felt like an idiot. I couldn't have been like, "Ooh, never mind."
Yeah,
That's
it's the
true.
same
It's hard
thing.
to
Same
back
thing.
down on something.
Yeah.
Everyone, yeah, you got to be careful. There's people that
Mhm.
are out to get you, and this guy, he is a nice man, but
Mhm.
you know, I think he tricked me.
Yeah,
I
he
think
got
you
tricked.
did. I think he looked you in the eyes and knew.
I think
All
he
right.
did.
Enough bagel talk.
How'd you get to how'd you haul those
Ooh.
bagels out of there?
Oh yeah, guess what?
You
So,
walk, did you walk?
nope. That you know what? This has been.
Did you bike?
This whole story has been just driving me crazy.
Huh?
Okay,
Just what?
just driving me crazy.
One more, pardon?
That's right. That's right.
Say again if you don't
I'm
mind.
not going to say it again. We were driving. I was driving.
Driving.
I was driving to the bagel place. I've been driving for a while now.
Sure.
7 years, right?
Yeah, about.
About 7 years.
Give or take.
All right, let's talk driving.
Let's talk driving.
Folks see
Sure.
the title, they see driving, they think, "Oh, golf! Finally, they're doing golf, the driving range."
Can I tell you guys how
They're
this
much anticipated golf series.
Oh, I do want to do
how
that.
this
Driving,
episode was
mid-range, and
developed? I don't know if you guys remember, but we were having a text conversation while about what a future episode could possibly be.
Mhm.
I was driving, came up with the idea,
And texting.
and I didn't want to text, so I sent one of those iPhone voice messages into the phone, and it was very choppy. And I said, like, "We should do a driving episode." And, like,
Oh, wait, did
no one
you?
really seemed to answer.
Wait, is that true?
I don't think that happened.
It did happen.
how recent
It
was
did
this?
happen. No one. Maybe
When-
it didn't send.
when
I
did
think
this
you
happen?
accidentally sent it
A
to
few weeks ago.
another person.
That's true. It's probably.
How about a driving episode? Chris, I don't think we should go on a second date.
Fair. You're calling your dates episodes.
I don't think that happened. But
Fair.
anyway, yeah. So we decided to do a driving episode. The real origin story is that we just decided it. There was no voice message involved.
All right.
But there's a lot to say with driving. I feel like many
People
of you
are already
guys
probably thinking like this is not a hobby challenge or activity, but
It-
when you think about it's there's so much to talk about with driving.
Yeah, I think this is like maybe similar to our air travel episode where people can immediately be like, air travel, humph, you know.
Yeah,
Sure.
come on.
Yeah, this is no Bodeborg.
I
like,
miss the old
well,
I need a hobby.
That's true, but
Something you spend a
it's
lot of
something
time
yeah,
doing.
we do a lot, and
Can be an activity.
definitely an activity. Definitely, I mean, could be a hobby, but we're not going to talk about it as a hobby. We're
Maybe
going
we'll
to
give
talk about it.
some tips and tricks, you know,
Sure.
along the
How-
way.
yeah.
I got a few tips.
10 and 2. Just like how, yeah, we're going to talk about our driving paths, and I don't know, where should we start, guys?
Let's start from the beginning. Start from our humble beginnings at driving.
Humble beginning.
Your first
Uh,
drives.
Let's talk about our license test. I like that idea.
Yeah, let's not. All right, so we're gonna leave out driver's ed, and I guess we can talk about like driving hours if you want, but
My driver's ed
more
is-
so, let's get to the driving aspect of driving.
Sure.
So, all right, let's start with we want to talk about our license tests. Alex, you said you had something good over there about your license
Oh,
test.
no.
Yeah,
I just
you
aced
said
it, baby. Second try. No, just kidding.
You know what's
Um,
funny? Well, one thing I remember when I was getting my license. I won't spoil how it went, but when I was sitting in the car, I remember thinking in my head, like, I guess I don't know for sure if you. I know Chris got it first try. I don't know if you failed or not, Alex, but
Thank you.
I remember thinking in my head, like, if you fail this is a rest of your life kind of thing. Like, it wouldn't be that bad, right? You'll get your license
Yeah.
I
eventually.
was gonna say I don't think it's a big deal if you fail at all.
No, definitely not. It isn't. But in my head, it was like, Andrew,
Yeah.
if you fail this,
Everyone's
like,
gonna know.
like for your entire life, you got your license on your second try. Like,
Yeah,
you
whatever.
know,
I did not fail it, but I don't think. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I felt
guess.
that pressure of
But I
like,
don't think
you
it's-
got to do it.
Yeah.
You
I was
gotta
gonna
do it.
say I think it's silly that in the moment it feels so important and so serious, but
yeah,
it's so silly. Like
Seriously. It's
people,
such just
people
like
are
a-
so
back
bad
up
at
in a
driving.
straight line.
Yeah, you have to do this. I
In a straight line.
I rarely back into parking spots. You know,
No.
like.
I love doing that actually.
But for my test, I did pretty well. I think
Mm-hmm.
K turn, whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
couple left on reds. He looked past them, thank God.
Few.
And I got to the very end, and he's like, maybe I've told you guys this story, but whatever. And he's like, all right, good job. Just park in one of the testing spots. And so I'm coming from behind the signs, so I see the signs. So I assume they say testing spots. I pull in, I look, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I got to nail this. I got to get right in these lines. I can't be on the line. I'm like, oh, I think I might be a little bit. Let me just fix it. So I back up. And I go back and I'm like, oh no. So I back up again. And then he goes, where are you parked? I looked up. I'm in a dang handicap spot.
Instant fail in
Handicap
most
parking
situations.
spot. So I go, oh! And he goes, just put it in park. And
That's
I'm like,
okay.
oh God, no. But he said I did fine. He was fine with it.
That's pretty
And,
bad.
I passed it. You somehow still passed it. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
I'll say my driving test. I'd say going into the driving test, I felt pretty good, and the test was boring, like when it's
Yeah.
planned. But I think like going from before driving, like I wasn't comfortable until maybe like a couple weeks before the test driving
It
by
was like
myself.
a couple weeks ago,
And then
honestly.
it's crazy where it's like right after the test, you have the ability to drive. The first time you do it.
Yeah, you're all of a sudden.
I just remember like there were turns that when I was driving with like my dad or whatever, like I wasn't entirely comfortable taking.
Yeah.
That I like was like, all right, Chris, like now you just got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like everyone on the you're an equal to everyone else.
It's-
on this
yeah,
road.
you're
right,
Like,
you're
it's
right.
scary.
Like-
I'm 16. Like
I don't trust
I
a
don't even-
16-year-old with anything,
I'm
really.
freshly like just finished sophomore year maybe I guess, and I was
Yeah, you got your license earlier than all of us.
I think so,
So I think you
yeah.
got it in like October.
yeah,
of our
and I
junior
just
year.
it was scary. I don't
Yeah.
know. I wasn't like very comfortable. And when you first have that like interim, it's like 6 months where you can't drive
JOL.
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
then that's your first time driving alone. So
yeah,
hopefully, is right after you pass the
Mhm.
test.
it's
I
scary.
remember the first time I drove alone was like,
I remember that too.
I could go anywhere.
Yeah.
I could skip town.
I remember
You
the
know?
phase where it was like I'd show up to a friend's house and there'd be like 9 cars there because it was like everyone
'cause
just sat there
everyone
like
just drove.
whatever junior operating license.
So your test went smoothly.
Test was
though?
fine. The funny thing though is like I've living in the city recently. I've gotten pretty good at parallel parking, but until I moved, I still didn't ever parallel park.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
there
like
was a
I
point
probably
where,
did
like,
it
no one
3
did.
times before a year ago, and I've
Yeah.
done it plenty since. But
I'm
like,
only comfortable with parallel parking because my car has a reverse camera.
Yeah,
Like
I have the
I don't
same as
know how
well.
well I would do it.
Dang.
And I thankfully didn't have to do it
Let's
on
talk
my
about this
driver's
though.
test.
Parallel parking on the left. Ugh, forget about
Oh,
it, right?
yeah.
yikes on a hill. Forget about it.
Yeah. E-brake up. Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
In an 18-wheeler, gulp.
I did apply for a
Can
job.
you imagine parallel parking with an 18-wheeler?
God, I applied for a job in college
Jesus.
where I had to. Part of the job was I would be driving a minivan, and
I mean,
or I guess like,
Like a van.
a van,
A
like
van, yeah.
it fit probably 12 people.
I feel like you need a
Yeah,
specific license to drive a van. Is that
you
true?
do, which is probably I think why I didn't get the job because I didn't have the license.
Not
But I-
because when the guy said, "Can you parallel park it?" You went,
well, as
"Gulp!"
part of the test, they had me parallel park it, and I nailed it.
Really? Oh, that's
Didn't get the
great.
job,
That's
and I was so
awesome.
bummed because I was like, oh,
Did you see me? It was
Yeah.
on the left side on a hill.
e-brake and all?
I remember Chris told me what I still remember to this day about parking on hills. UCLA, up corner,
Or left
left always. So it's like if you're parking on a hill and there or up curb.
See, this
up
is what
curb, sorry.
the folks at home when I said, "Oh, we'll give you tips and tricks," they rolled their eyes. This
Sure.
is what
This
I'm
is what
talking
we're
about,
live,
baby.
baby.
It's if you're parking on a hill, it's up curb. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. I
If you're,
forgot.
you're parking on a hill, and there's a curb. You're uphill. You
Yep.
turn the wheel left because if God forbid your car starts rolling,
Yeah, you wanna go.
it'll hit that curb.
Mhm.
Okay, but every other time you turn it to the right. I don't remember the logistics.
Oh, I always
for that.
thought it was. Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Oh
But
yeah, no, it does
I've
make
always
sense.
thought
It does
like
make sense.
I just always feel like you just think about it and like, all right, where should I? If it does roll backwards, all right, I'm gonna hit this curve.
Yeah.
That's
So you
perfect.
don't think of a fun.
But now
acronym.
I can think of my favorite team, baby.
Yeah,
UCLA.
go Bruins, right?
UCLA
Yeah.
up curb, left always.
Wow,
Anyway, so for my license test, I remember. So when I learned parallel parking, I had like a different instructor as later in the lessons. I guess if that makes sense. Like I had many different like driving instructors when you
Sure.
did driving hours. Did you guys have
Oh,
that
throughout
too?
driver's ed.
Yeah,
Driver's
Not
ed,
your
yeah,
driver's
driver's ed.
test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if
I
I had
learned it, and then like I guess like I didn't learn it well or whatever. And I remember it was towards like I think it was either my last or second to last driving hour, and like it was like the parallel parking. Like okay, just practice this the whole time basically, and like it was bad. Like I kept messing up, and my instructor was like really mad at me. He was like basically like like you suck at this, and I was like dang, like this is
Because I would say
this is
that
wicked embarrassing.
the
Like,
parallel parking part of the driver's test is probably the only part where grown-ups can't have a chance at being bad at it too.
Yeah.
that's true.
Like-
Like you should be able to take like a left.
doing a K turn,
Yeah.
turning on the car and buckling your seatbelt. Like
Sure.
anyone could do that. But
Yeah.
I've met people that are like awful at parallel parking.
yeah.
Also depends on where you live.
So I mean, I feel like I'm still when I parallel park. I feel like I still might mess up the first time. I actually did it like last week, and the first time I just like didn't get the right angle. I didn't hit the curb, but I was way too out in the road. So I just like did it again, and I did it fine. But I still feel like I don't have that like perfect confidence of like always getting it. However, I was really bad at this point, and during the test, so the day before the test, I practiced a ton, got it every time, perfect. I like was nailing the test so far. I get to that point, and that instructor is like in the car with me. He's not like giving me tips.
The guy was getting mad at you.
Yeah, he was like there observing, and I remember doing that parallel park. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it was one of the smoothest I had ever done. Like, I didn't even have
That
to
feels
pull up
great,
at the
yeah.
end. You know how sometimes you're like in, and then you like pull up and adjust just to make sure.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like, it was totally perfect.
You just looked him in the
because
eye,
that's the
like,
thing. Like,
hey.
UCLA,
I looked in
baby.
the rear view. Like, I remember thinking like that's just kind of what I was saying. Where like if you fail, you have this for the rest of your life. I remember just thinking like, oh, I got it. Like, and I was like feeling so good.
And then you look up.
And then
handicap spot.
I actually had gulp. I had a similar problem at the end of my test, but it wasn't as bad as that. No offense, but it was like I was feeling so good after I got it, and yeah, I like looked that guy in the eye in the rear view, and I was like, I got it.
Is he sitting in the back?
Yeah, he was in the back. I don't know why. The
Did you hear that, Chris?
Yeah, that's strange. I think our system is good at this.
the instructor man, the man who was testing me was in the front seat.
You had
with
multiple
Oh.
people in your car?
Yeah, and
You just asked if he could come.
no, I didn't ask.
You
for
said,
him.
please,
One of my-
please, I need you
one,
there.
one of my favorite students. Let me ride with him.
Like, I need to look at him when I'm
Wait, I
backing
only
up.
had one guy.
All right,
like,
sorry.
Yeah.
To explain it, it was like
makes sense.
the man who gave me the test.
Imagine being
Yeah, I don't know
a
how.
tester, just like such a
He
qualified
was in the front
driver.
seat with me, and then the man in the back was my instructor, who I don't know.
Why
He
was
just
he there?
needed a lift.
You did driver's ed, so you took your test through where you took driver's ed.
exactly.
Because my driver's ed
Yeah.
was like a completely different.
Yeah, so that might be
affiliate
why. Anyway, so I got to look him in the eye in the back seat.
It was
Anyway,
just my mommy in the back seat. Thank God.
Hey. On the way back, I did not put turn signals in the parking lot because I was just feeling good.
Yeah,
just
you were
zoomed right in.
riding that sweet
And,
parallel park high.
Easily forgettable.
Basically, yeah, and
That's fine.
and then I parked, and he was like, you forgot some at the end, and I was like, huh? It might have been a woman actually, but not important.
But you had already
Just thinking
popped the confetti in the
Yeah.
in the
You
car.
were
I
drinking
got the-
champagne.
got the champagne, like, huh? It's like, don't
Like,
be alarmed. Just keep
You're just
drinking it.
blasting.
Aren't you
we
16?
We are the champions as you pull into the. You forgot a few turn signals, and your radio was
Yeah.
way too loud.
You
but
took. Do you remember when you took 2 lefts on red? Like,
I blacked out after that parallel. Sorry.
yeah, so that was good.
Yeah.
I was proud of that.
You got that sense of freedom.
You get the
You
sense of
could hit
freedom. You're
it.
right,
It's
Chris.
weird. That
your
fir-
first drive.
I
your first drive.
distinctly remember that
Same.
first drive. Like,
Yeah, me too.
it's so weird. I don't know what it is about it.
Do you remember where you went? I remember
I actually don't.
distinctly. A friend asked me to hang out, so I went to his house. But first, I remember I pulled into a random convenience store and bought some candy.
I think you know what? I think I went to a convenience store too.
I remember
I'm not
having a
kidding.
thought like, yeah, I could do this myself now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm a grown man and I could buy a pack of candy. Great.
I love it. It's
That
so
is pretty
weird.
good.
So
Yeah.
stupid, but
Yeah,
it's
right.
All right, so let's transition into. Unfortunately, shortly after you're driving, you go to college, and then
Yeah.
sometimes you might not have your car. What was your guys' driving experience like in college? Because personally, for me, I will say as an intro, I guess, I didn't bring my car to college the first semester, and then I brought it every other semester, and I actually think I was a really bad driver until I started commuting on the Mass Pike, which is like a big highway, I-90. To and from school, not every day, but when I would drive my car to school, go back for vacations and stuff like Easter or something, that's when I felt like I became like a real driver.
you get
And
that,
so
yeah,
it was
you get all that time.
probably around, I guess, sophomore year of college is when I actually felt like I could drive.
Yeah, see, that's crazy to think about. Like, I didn't have a car in college. I didn't have a car until after college. So, like, I was just borrowing my parents' car, essentially. So I didn't really, like, have, it's like, how much better did I get over those 4 years? Probably not that much.
No.
I still think I'm not a good driver. Like,
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I actually don't like people that like
Play-
love to
yeah.
pride themselves on like how good they are at
I
being a
hate-
driver.
Yeah,
I
I think
hate that
like
so much.
the increment between like anyone who's not a NASCAR driver or like not a criminal driver, like everyone is probably within like 110%.
I hate when people are like, ugh, one drop of rain and people forget how to drive.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. What are you?
Yeah.
just
And
that
I also
afraid of
I also hate the
driving?
generalization of like Massachusetts people can't drive.
Yeah, I don't
New
hate-
York people
I hate
can't
that
drive.
too.
Like,
I just feel like it's every state.
yeah, no one can drive.
like,
but
friend
have
of-
you been to Massachusetts? Like,
yeah.
Friend of the show, Billy,
Yeah.
is every time I see him, he's like, ugh, Connecticut drivers.
Yeah, he's always complaining about Connecticut
What does that
traffic.
even mean?
Yeah. But yeah, I think that summer, though, I think one of my biggest driving just experiences was the summer in college. After I think junior year, I had an internship where it was an hour commute due to traffic. Like it wasn't very far, but I was like commuting into the city and it was terrible. So I think that was probably where I spent the most time in a car.
But I would say driving
and probably picked up the most of my like driving like habit. You know, like my like what I do in a car, what I do for long drives.
Yeah,
that was the first time I
feel like what I do in a car in traffic versus what I do on a long drive, even if it's the same amount of time,
changes a lot.
It's completely different.
I agree with that.
Like I'll put on a podcast or something in a long drive, but if I'm in traffic or like driving in a city where I have to like
screaming,
yeah, I'm like, what are you doing? There's one drop of Randy. What do you forgot to drive?
Connecticut drivers. Got a mass license plate.
You're in Vermont.
But like really, all like you ever I think this is the thing that a lot of people do is like when you get close to a destination and you're not exactly sure where to go, you'll like turn the radio down.
Yeah.
So like that's what I feel like when I'm driving through traffic. I'm not gonna be paying attention to a podcast or something, so I'll either turn it down or I'll put on music or something so I can zone out. Whereas if I'm sitting back, relaxing, almost reclining in a long trip, hour plus, you know, it's like leisurely.
Do you guys? This is reminding me. Do you guys have like a traumatic driving experience? I would say I don't mean like car crash, you know, burning fire,
gulp.
but I mean like a moment where you're just like, oh god. Like I have two. One of them was recently. I was driving in Manhattan, and it was just like. I was just so out of place. Like, I guess if you can drive there, you could drive anywhere. Jeez. But like, I was like letting pedestrians cross and stuff. Cars were honking at me because I didn't know that like you just kind of go. You
Connecticut drivers.
You don't like stop for anyone. And there was a ton of lane changing. There was like a parade going on, so I had to take a huge detour. Terrible.
That is like the worst.
It was as bad as possible. Like, I was on Labor Day.
Down in laughter if I was that that out of my zone and then seen a parade coming. How is this possible?
I couldn't take a left to turn around for so long. I took one wrong turn and I was literally on an hour detour in traffic. It was
that does sound awful.
It was through Times Square too. It was literally like the worst thing.
Yeah, that's what Alex and I are doing in New York next week. We haven't even talked about bringing a car. We're avoiding cars at all costs.
Yeah, no, I don't even like driving in Boston.
No,
I would hate to.
And another traumatic experience I had was when we were going to a pasta party. Chris, remember this?
I wanted to bring this story
cross country.
Sure.
This was
so was
bad.
Early on in Andrew's driving.
I had it was probably senior year, right? So I had my license for not even 6 months, like 4 months. And
so you can't drive.
We're going to this pasta party, and I put into my GPS like Papa Gino's because that's where it was. It's Papa Gino's like pizza place,
well-known pasta.
Very classic place for
everyone
us.
Knows Papa Gino's.
No, it's local to New England. You know
what? Is that true?
Yeah.
Whoa, that just blew my mind. All right, never mind.
Anyway, I know, but it's good. I love Papa Gino's. Anyway, we're going to Papa Gino's, and I somehow put one on that was like on the Mass Pike, like so I'm like going to the Papa Gino's, like
it was like a rest stop.
It was a rest stop on the Mass Pike, and I knew.
I've been there. I know that one.
I knew I was going the right way, like so I'm going the right way, and then all of a sudden, like I'm literally like. The exit to the Mass Pike is like a half mile before the actual Papa Gino's. So I'm on the right road. I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. And it's saying like, take a right.
This is like that episode of The Office where Michael Scott drives into the lake.
Yeah, yeah.
Take a right.
And I was like, no, I can't. I don't want to. I can't take a right. And then it's like, take a right. That's where the Papa Gino's is. You know, my GPS just speaking to me. Andrew, hey,
Andrew, you know it's there.
It's right here. And I said, all right, fine. Took a right. I'm on the Mass Pike. The Papa Gino's
That's
not
scary
on the Mass Pike.
when you're first learning how to drive. Like I didn't even like going on any highway.
But luckily, I was in.
You got tolls.
Well,
to
maybe
face
not luckily,
now?
but right. I had to. I had to go through. I didn't have the Easy Pass yet. I had to go through tolls, and I was freaking out. But I did have change. I remember like in high school, I put a spot for change for like this exact situation, like,
for when I accidentally end up on
like
the
I
emergency
accidentally end up on a
turns.
toll road. But anyway, yeah, and I remember calling my mom and I was freaking out. I was like, Mom, I went on the wrong turn. Like I'm freaking out. I'm in stop and start traffic. I have no idea how to get home. And she's like, all right, calm down.
Yeah, see now you think back like that's so,
like,
so
it's so
stupid.
minor. But back then it was like so traumatizing. I remember the next day I was like, yeah, Chris, you won't believe it. Like I went on the Mass Pike, you know, and they're like, what were you thinking? Like I don't know.
That's really
funny. I had one slightly traumatic. I used to drive this car that the gas gauge would not work. Like,
oh, remember our friend had that too?
Yeah,
like he literally had like, you know, like a trip counter, and it was like, if you've gone this far, like you need to refill soon.
It's like every few hundred miles, basically.
Have you guys seen Dunkirk?
No.
Oh, dang it. They do it in Dunkirk. Never mind.
Nice.
But
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
They so sometimes it would like if I was going up a hill, it would all of a sudden like whoop, this is how much gas you have. But if I wasn't, it like so I never really knew.
Yeah.
So I was driving all around the night before.
Was this your old Volvo or no?
A Volvo.
Didn't you have a Volvo?
Yeah,
you did.
No, Volvo.
Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't.
Didn't he, Chris?
I don't know.
Hey, what are you talking about?
What was your car before this current car?
This was like an Oldsmobile that I'm talking about.
Isn't that a Volvo?
It's white. I don't know what's a Volvo.
I think it's an Oldsmobile.
Isn't that a brand?
Yeah.
No, Oldsmobile is a brand.
Well, it's like a Toyota Corolla or something.
No.
I don't think it is.
Corolla.
I think
No.
Oldsmobile.
You're
is
thinking
like,
of a Toyota Honda.
I think
Yeah.
Oldsmobile is the Toyota,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
and
pretty
it's
sure.
an Oldsmobile
All right.
station wagon.
Go ahead. I'm looking this up.
And so I'm driving around all like crazy the night before. And the next day I had a 5K to run in my town.
Yeah.
Same race that me and Chris are about to run this upcoming weekend.
Very excited for.
And so to get to where I live, or to get from where I live to the town, is I have to go up a slight hill, gradual, and then once I get to the top, I have to go down a really long hill and then back up another hill. So I'm leaving, and I realize, like, oh no, I must be dangerously low on gas right now. So I'm going up this slight hill, up, and I realize I'm out of gas. So my car
God.
stops.
Wow.
So I try to start it back up. It starts. Thank God. So I'm like, oh, I got to get to the top, because if I get to the top of this hill, if I keep going and miss my turn, I end up at a gas station. So that's a perfect. Even if I run out of gas, I can just coast.
That'd be
into the
baller
gas
as heck.
station. And I'm like, I got it. And I got a 5K to get to, you know?
Sure.
I got to get there. Dies at the very top of the hill.
Really?
In the middle, it's
Slowly
this is
rolls.
literally Main Street in my town.
Oh, that stinks.
I'm dead. I'm on the side of the road. My dad has to come with gas. It was so embarrassing. It
Did
was
you, run the
Wow.
you make it to the 5K?
ran the 5K.
Yeah. How'd you do?
I think I did pretty well, actually. I had
Nice.
all the adrenaline of
Yeah, that's
That
it
is
was
that's like one of my fears. Like
I've never run out of gas, but it is a very
Yeah, it was awful.
I had
it
some
was
car
it was like
troubles.
embarrassing, but you sound like an idiot blaming the car, like, oh, the car's
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's so true. My
Yeah.
Oldsmobile
your
Volvo,
gas gauge.
like,
I'm just saying I had some car troubles very recently that I'll get to later in the podcast, and like I was so embarrassed like that my car is just like not
Yeah.
moving. I was at a gas
See,
station
I feel
and
like-
I just couldn't.
I don't
move,
know what
and I was
happened with
like,
yours,
I'm
but
sorry.
but mine is like running out of gas is like a stupid thing.
That
to
is-
do.
that is-
Like,
that is-
yours,
yeah.
I assume, had to do with the.
it was
your
just
car,
like
breaking
functional
down.
issue. Yeah,
Can I tell a quick dire car situation?
sure.
So this is also early on in my driving career, but at this point I have my, whatever, it's 6 months after you have your license, you can drive people.
Yeah.
I go to the beach. I think it was in like Marshfield, like it's probably about an hour away from where we live. Nice beach. We're coming back that night. Very bad traffic.
And
And
you're
it's-
driving people.
I'm driving people. I have a full car, 5 people.
Cool.
A boogie board in the back.
Yeah, it's bumping.
Full of coolers.
Classic,
I'm playing
you
some
know.
summer hits.
Yeah.
Play the Beach Boys.
Everyone's got their floaties and sunscreen on their noses.
This is
Um,
post beach.
Post-beach.
So people are probably napping.
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
like a nap on
Yeah.
the way back
Yeah.
from the beach, you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Except for you, Chris, if you're in
Yeah,
the
but
driver's seat.
that's the thing. Like I'm totally fine
Unless
with
you're doing lucid driving.
That's the next step of that. But I would say like I don't really sleep in cars. I'm fine with people doing it, but yeah, it was kind of just a quiet ride back.
Yeah.
But very bad traffic. And I had to go pee so bad.
Oh, no.
Like one of the worst I've
Talk
ever
about
had to go.
gulp. Oh,
And
man,
at this
that
point,
sounds like a
I'm-
nightmare.
I'm like typically 10 minutes, maybe 20, 30, whatever, 20 minutes away from my house, let's say. It was going to take us over an hour from this
Because
point.
it's traffic.
And I'm like, I could hypothetically get out of my car, go pee, get back in, be fine.
Whoa.
That's
traffic.
That's my first thought. That's
a crazy.
That's
move.
how bad this traffic is.
I would
Talk
much
about it.
rather pee in a bottle. Than
Talk
do
about
that.
a Chinese fire drill.
Let's
My
talk-
God.
Let's talk about my whole like thought process. So it's like that's the first thought. The second thought
That's
is
how bad
like,
the traffic was.
That's how bad it was. Second thought is like I could do some sort of Chinese fire drill situation where someone gets in and drives.
That
and
I think
go.
it sounds like a good idea. That's what I would.
And then
probably
you
do.
pee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then I
That's
And
pee
then
and
you
I run
just
back
run.
in.
You run to catch.
Third
up.
option, a bottle. But at this point, I'm like 16 and like not really comfortable with my body.
I'm still. I've never peed in a bottle in my car.
Option
Still, I don't
4,
think
pee
I
my
could.
pants, not having. I ended up just holding it, but it was like.
Oh man,
It was the
I feel
most.
bad
It was
for
to the point where it was like I got back to a friend's house at like maybe 11. It was
Is that
like
why
late
you
night.
always walk with that limp now?
Still to this day. But it was like very late. I had to drop off a lot of people all over town, and I was like, I need to use your bathroom. It was very weird, but I don't know.
Yikes,
That
that
was
is the worst. That's a.
I
that's
saw
a
flashbacks,
classic car ride conundrum.
and it's
there.
like everyone's asleep, so it's not like I'm gonna wake someone up to tell them I have to pee.
yeah, or like if you get off at an exit. I've gotten off
Yeah.
an exit thinking,
Sure.
oh, there's gonna be a bathroom here. It'll say like gas station or whatever, and then the next sign of civilization is 15 miles away or something.
Yeah, that's tough. That needs to be better because I know like a lot of the Google Maps or whatever can get you to a gas station or that,
Right.
but I need a public
Get
bathroom,
me to a dang loo.
and I need like a good private bath. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't want a gas station where I need to ask
Hey,
for a
I'm
key.
16. I'm not comfortable in my body. Give me a good one.
Look at me,
I
eh?
don't want to take trough.
What
to be in.
about cars with a bathroom? How about that?
I used to have a Hot Wheels car that was. Do you guys have this? It was just it was a toilet, and the steering wheel was a plunger.
That's awesome.
It was good.
Ridiculous. That's funny.
If I had like
But
unlimited,
ridiculous, but practical.
if I had like unlimited money, that would be my secondary car.
Like I saw a video the other day of a guy driving down the street, and he like made a Mad Max style car for himself. So he was like playing the drums as he was driving on a
Jeez.
convertible. Imagine driving down the street, looking to the left and seeing a Mad Max style car, but the guy's just taking a dump in his toilet or something.
That's really funny.
All right, I want to get to like your car routine. You touched on it a little bit ago, Alex. That in traffic you are more attentive, I guess. I think I feel that way as well. But on a nice trip, you can just kind of zone out, get a pod going.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the best.
Get this pod going, maybe.
Sure.
Get some music going, even.
If it's a long trip, here's what I have to say. If it's a long trip and I don't have something to drink, I'm pulling over right away.
I agree.
That's like my number one thing if it's a long trip.
What?
Something to drink.
You're not talking alcohol.
Yeah, baby. Glug, glug, glug. I'm talking the bad juice, baby.
The bad cheese.
What, like Gatorade or something?
No, I'm talking like water.
Yeah, I like.
Why don't you just bring a water bottle or something?
Yeah, that's part of it. I
Okay,
could.
okay.
Or like a,
No,
maybe
I
a
agree.
seltzer. Hard
Yeah.
seltzer.
'Cause when
I
you
wish.
Spiked. If you ask
Seltzer,
me.
hard or otherwise. But when you said something to drink, I pictured not water for some reason. I pictured
It's-
I
I don't know.
You weren't going to get a
Oh,
water.
most of the time it's like an iced coffee, to be honest. If
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
moving
okay, that
water.
makes sense.
It depends on if it's a long drive. I like having maybe a snack. You know,
A snack.
Yeah, snack.
Especially if it's long. If it's over an hour
A
and a
trail
half,
mix?
maybe.
Some
Yeah, dude.
almonds,
My
maybe?
go-to is if I'm hungry in a car, I always get Chex Mix, the blue
Yeah,
Chex Mix. I don't know
perfect.
why,
Yeah.
but
That's
yeah,
good.
that kind of
That's good.
stuff. Just like a weird
You know
car
what,
snack.
you know what I used to eat all the time in high school, only in the car though, was those purple Doritos, the sweet chili ones.
Oh, I think I might have some.
Those are
too.
so
That's-
good.
I feel like-
think they're
but I
underrated.
only eat them in the car.
I was gonna say I feel like that's a tough driving snack because you get the
Yeah,
dust
right.
on your
Oh
fingers.
yeah. You should have seen my
Yes.
car.
See, I'd say I for a while would eat breakfast on my way to work. So my commute to work is maybe 25 minutes or so.
Yep.
And I would make up something real quick, just like a
Because just shoveling oatmeal in his
like something
mouth.
so like a granola bar situation or like
Yeah, yeah.
a bagel with cream cheese. A bagel with cream cheese, I'll say.
Do you need one or? 'cause
Yeah,
I
I do.
have a lot.
I have 24.
A bagel is a great driving food.
I feel like a bagel
the
with
thi-
cream cheese is dangerous.
Cream
though.
cheese is tricky, but with
Yeah,
no cream
it's
cheese,
true.
you put the thing on your finger. Hold it. You
Wait,
steer-
what?
You're insane.
You put your finger through the hole.
Oh, in the bagel.
You're
Yeah.
insane. You're
Oh,
insane.
that's great. Yeah, no, that's
Genius.
great. You
Innovative.
put your thumb through that bagel hole.
Sure.
You got both hands on the wheel, 10 and 2.
10 to 2.
You're munching on a bagel. But hey, I know it's shaped the same, but don't bite that wheel. It looks good.
I've made that
It's not
mistake a
the
couple
same.
times, which is why I had to
Yikes.
stop eating breakfast.
Like that classic thing, like, you're holding a pencil and drinking orange juice. You start drinking the pencil. Classic mistake. Classic
Yeah,
mistake.
jeez.
Yeah. But yeah,
But I also say I kind of enjoy the morning commute. Less so the afternoon commute because traffic can be tougher, but something about, or even the
Yeah.
afternoon, like just decompressing, like thinking about what I'm going to
it's
do
like-
that day.
So I'm
Yeah,
not.
I agree with
I'm
that,
not
100%.
doing that frequently because I'm a grad student.
You
But
you get to work.
no, but I have thought of that, and it is good. I wish like I was saying, we alluded to earlier that I was getting my bagel, starting my day at 3 p.m.
Yikes.
when I'm
Yes, and that's waking up early.
Like, I wish I was better at getting structured hours because
Mm-hmm.
I think that like when I do this, when I go somewhere, sometimes I go to the Rock Gym actually.
Mm-hmm.
Check out our episode, rock climbing episode.
17 or so?
27 or something.
Sure.
No, I don't know, something around there.
Sounds right.
When I go rock climbing, I love just like getting up and like figuring out my day while
great.
like what you're saying. Like I guess I'm not stuck in like bumper to bumper traffic. Maybe
Yeah.
that would be worse, but
I think-
I feel you. About
I think
the
a big
morning
part of
commute.
life, which I found kind of recently, is like having a routine is nice.
Mm.
And I think the drive is kind of part of it. Like I think having like something you do on the drive, like sometimes in the morning I'll like do little things like while I'm driving, like call like my credit card and pay the bill, just like like stuff like that.
Sorry, you're paying your credit card bill over the phone?
Yeah, you're not.
Yeah, no, I'm
Just
doing
use
it.
your app.
I'll do
You
it
can
on
use
my
the
app.
app too. But you just call it. They go, Capital One here. You owe us $6,000. I go, yikes. Pay
Minimum
payment, please. They're saying, are you sure? It's been a while.
Yeah. For some reason, Chris finds it more comfortable to
I'm
talk
shocked
to
that-
someone about his
Or even like getting
debt.
like stuff like out of the way.
I'm
Like
shocked that you do that.
like
honestly.
I'll call.
I don't call any. I can't believe you call anyone.
You know, you're not calling people on the
I
phone.
haven't talked to my parents in weeks. Only text and mostly emojis.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a caller as well, Chris.
Yeah.
No, but I will say, if you're gonna call someone, which me and Andrew had this the other day, a phone or the car is a great place to call someone.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah,
That's it.
Alex and I were talking on the phone. I left literally. I'm not even kidding. That's actually when I went to get the bagels. I decided to. I drove in.
You're like,
in
I
my
want to hear what
car.
the bagel man's opinion is.
Because
on
I'm
this.
in the car and I'm like, yeah, I'm in the car. Sorry if I sound weird. Because sometimes I get road rage.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's bad.
Sometimes I get an accent when I'm driving.
So I don't sound like myself. Oh, boy. I don't want to offend anyone.
That's fine. That's fine.
And then Andrew goes like, "Oh, you're driving? Hold on a sec. I'll call you right back." He hangs up on me. He calls me back. He's in a car.
Yeah.
He just wanted to get in the car. with me.
Stronger accent. That's
Yeah.
funny.
So that's something about driving and phone calls are.
And even
good
like,
for
I
me,
mean, it's nice
honestly.
to decompress after like a day of work. Like a lot's going on. You gotta like,
Yeah.
It's so
I-
true. Like it's almost like,
Which
the
is-
car
yeah.
is like a weird security
Yeah.
blanket,
Yeah.
where it's like, all right,
Yeah.
work is
So good.
either like, all
a
right,
good
I'm
day, it's a
starting my
bad day,
day,
yeah.
but I haven't started yet. I'm in the car,
Yeah.
or the day's over, but you know what? Me and what's that Lindsay Lohan movie with the car? Me and
Herbie?
Herbie.
Herbie.
Me and Herbie, baby.
Wow.
I was gonna say I love that. Like probably for some people, like our podcast is part of like the Wednesday commute.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
cool.
I hope so.
I have podcasts that I listen to when they come out.
Yeah.
I
It's
like listening to
exciting,
our
yeah.
podcast
I know.
too. You know, like having like a like
Like I work early. Like if I like go to work on a Monday
yeah.
early in the morning,
Mhm.
there like it literally like makes Mondays, which everyone is like
Hates,
Oh, Mondays. It makes Mondays better because
Mhm.
I got that podcast.
Because yeah,
listener.
that's what we try to do with us. I remember when we were deciding like what's the release date, like let's put it in like midweek. You know, like
Yeah.
you're already got your routine going, but
Midweek
then you're
grind.
like, you know what, midweek
Mhm.
grind. You need a hobby. I mean,
Sure.
come on, you got to get
Of
through
course.
the week.
Mix it up.
Yeah, so I like that. I agree with the morning routine aspect.
Do you guys have any notable drives, like long drives, road trips, things like that you remember?
Well, I did that
That's a
road
good
trip to
point.
the
You did that
Eclipse
recently, right?
this summer. Great drive.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of anything crazy happened
Dang.
specifically with the drive. But I don't know.
You're-
It's just good. I don't
You're
know.
making me realize, Chris, like I feel like my longest drive with this car has actually only been to like Pennsylvania, which is about 5 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, I
which-
got a story
Still a
about it.
decent drive.
Yeah.
A listener of the show, Ben,
Mhm.
one time was driving, and the wheel, not the steering wheel, but one of the four wheels fell off of his
no.
car.
That's so
Oh.
scary.
Isn't that absurd?
Did he freak out?
He made it home. So
What?
I'm not sure.
That's funny.
Yeah, I assume he.
I
freaked
see.
out,
I've
but-
been lucky to never have like, really. I mean, I've gotten little fender benders and stuff, but never like a
Yeah.
a
Same
wheel
with me.
fall off.
I've
or,
never
like,
had like a crisis situation.
Yeah.
Like I remember my dad telling a story of how he had a flat tire and it was pouring rain. So where he was pulled over was so muddy that he couldn't like use the jack to put the car up because every
Jeez.
time he tried to put it up, it would classic physics. It would push itself back into the
Ugh.
ground, and like
The jack would because of the mud.
because the mud. So
Oh,
like the
wow.
force going up
Mhm.
and the force going down. I have never been in a situation like that. You
Yeah.
know?
Never.
No, that's true.
Triple A.
I've locked my keys in my car and I've had my car
Mhm.
die, but those are both like
yeah.
I'm safe
Standard,
where I
yeah.
am.
Easy
I'm not on the
fixes.
middle of a highway or something.
Yeah,
like
I've
that.
never had anything bad either, but I have had to call AAA very frequently with my car.
Yeah. You have
Um,
kind of like an older car.
I have an older car. Yeah, very recently I had to call AAA.
Volvo, right?
It's not. It's an Oldsmobile actually.
Yeah.
Is it?
A Ford Oldsmobile. Now I did look it up. Oldsmobile. You guys are right. Is a
just a-
brand. It is now defunct though.
Yeah.
Discontinued.
Yeah. I mean, it's
in 2004.
Probably
now
that
called-
name.
now called
honestly.
New Mobile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the founder was his last name was Old, so I don't think.
Is that true?
Yeah. I just
I was
looked
gonna
it
say bad
That's awesome.
name, but maybe it's all right.
up. Well, it's pretty cool if you got your car named out. I mean, yeah, Oldsmobile does not sound. It's not the most
But
sexy
you know what?
sounding car.
Old is hip these days. It's like a
That's
hipster
true.
thing.
True. Maybe I should
Anyway.
have an Oldsmobile.
Yeah.
Um,
Explain to the folks at home about your car.
I got in some car trouble recently that I want to talk about. So we were actually supposed to record this episode a couple days ago, but I tell the guys, hey, I'm stuck. My car is not working. So for listeners at home, my car, I love my car. It's a very classic. It's a red Jeep Cherokee 99. Really old, really like
It's a car old enough to drink. Not quite. Old enough to drive itself.
war torn.
Self-driving cars are in the news too.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I don't want to get into self-driving cars. But it's been through a lot, and it is sometimes has
There's
problems.
duct tape on the car,
It's
right?
bad.
Yeah,
It's
there's
duct tape
on
holding the car
No,
together.
Your windshield is plastic wrap.
no, that's not true either. It's mostly good, but let's just say it has problems more frequently than your guys. You guys have nice post 2010 cars, right?
Yeah, we're in a post 2010 world.
Yeah, so
I'd
your cars.
I'd say your job probably couldn't handle like a daily commute.
That's what I'm
Exactly.
realizing now. Like my car has, a very high number of miles, and it probably if I had to commute every day, it would be tough.
Mm-hmm.
So I was having some issues with it in the past, but it'd been fine, and it had been good for a long time. And today or last week on Thursday, I was getting gas. The Thursday prior to this episode coming out, I was getting gas, and fill up the gas. Doing fine. Go to start the car, nothing. No sputter.
Oh no,
Doesn't work.
I've been
Wow.
there, brother.
Doesn't work. And
I
I
had to
like.
get my. You should call my dad. That's it. He saved me when I ran out of gas. Maybe he'll save you.
Yeah. So, well, no, it wasn't. I wasn't out of gas though. I filled the gas and then
Okay.
it didn't start. Unless, never mind. And so yeah, I tried to start the car. It didn't work. I end up. Oh, this was so weird too. I end up going into the gas station. It was like a gas station convenience store place, and I was like, "Hi, I'm sorry, but my car is not starting. Like, can I just leave it here for a bit? I'm gonna call AAA." But I first said I have jumper cables. Can someone help me jump it? And the lady who was the cashier counter, those people that are just really talkative, but you don't really want to talk
It's
to
not
them.
the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically what was happening. She kept being oh, I would help, but my dad, he's telling me that I'm out of antifreeze in my car and I can't move it. I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's yeah, he's a real lifesaver though. I'm calling him up
Oh,
at
God.
4:30 a.m. and I'm
He's
like,
been with me through all
yeah,
this.
it's
Listen.
he's helping me with my car, and I'm like, okay, I'm already confused.
Next thing you know,
I'm already calling AAA.
Next thing you know, you're in her arms. You're crying at this beautiful story.
But then after I was like, okay, I'm not getting anything out of this. Then she's like, oh, let me just ask my manager. I'm like, oh, okay. Manager, very nice woman, middle-aged woman. She's like, yeah, let me help you out. Goes to help me out. We go to jump the car. Nothing happens. And I was like, I had a feeling I don't think it's the battery, right? I just drove here and it
Yeah,
died at the
yeah.
gas station. How is it the battery? So
Sounds like
I-
the starter.
yeah, that's what it sounded like, right? So I get it to AAA.
Yeah, I know cars.
I know what a starter
Cool,
is.
Get AAA, tow it to the shop. It's within 3 miles, so my membership is good. No money, no extra.
Cool.
And it's at the shop, and I get a ride home from my friend, and they say yeah, we'll let you know we'll give you a call when it's all set. I'm like,
When
all
the
right, cool.
starter's fixed.
And I never get a call. That was at 2:00 maybe. They close at 7. I call at 5, nothing. 5:30, nothing. 6. They're not answering the phone.
You're
6:30,
thinking maybe
nothing.
You
And
got tricked.
I
out
was
of a
thinking
full car. They
dang.
stole it.
Tried to sell me some bagels.
I was thinking dang, what is wrong with my car? That's supposed to be really bad. Or they just don't answer the phone. That's fine. So I got there early in the morning the next day, and I was like, hey, what's going on with my car? They're like, oh yeah, the Jeep. Yeah, we just tried to start it last night. Started right up, working fine.
Really?
You all right, Alex?
Excuse me. Sorry, I
Bless
had
you.
to sneeze.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then the guy was like, he wasn't rubbing it in, but that's how it felt like to me because I
Was
felt.
he calling you out?
No, he actually wasn't. But I felt I was embarrassed because
So he
I
literally just turned it on?
yeah, he's like, yeah, check it out. Literally turns it off. And
Did
I'm
you just have to
10 times?
You know, one of
I
those
would be more concerned at that point.
Yeah,
'cause
I
that
was like, what
oh,
the heck?
Now it's a problem that they don't.
because
know the
I was
answer
thinking,
to.
I was thinking in my head
sometimes when
no
you,
one else tried to start the car.
Yeah.
Was this a me thing? But
when you
yeah.
can't start the car, you just gotta jimmy the wheel a little bit.
yeah, so
You tried
that's-
jimmy in the wheel.
I didn't.
Wait,
so
what's that?
that's what I was thinking.
You know, sometimes your car,
You just
you just
kinda
gotta jimmy the wheel a little bit.
What did
you
you
just
say?
shake it a bit.
You know, sometimes
You're
you
just
just gotta jimmy the wheel.
No, I don't know that. What is that?
I'll show you.
Jimmy as in turn it?
I'll show you
yeah,
sometime.
yeah.
That's not a thing.
I think it is. Well, it's
Yeah,
like
it
a
is
it's like a wives' tale maybe, but it
Sure.
works.
I mean,
It
it's
works.
My car in high school was so bad that sometimes the key would not sometimes I'd have to jimmy the key to get it out. Sometimes it wouldn't get out if it was a really cold day.
classic
So I had to
olds.
leave the key in the car all day at school.
scary.
Not
That is
joking.
crazy.
That's a great, like, you know, some people name their cars a name for a rickety old car. Jimmy.
Jimmy. Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, the verb. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway,
So you did try Jimmying.
the guy. Yeah. So the guy
starter.
starts it over and over again. I go to school that day.
He's just rubbing it.
Yeah.
Look at
Literally. Like,
5 times in a row.
Actually, that's basically what happened.
Call me Jimmy.
He wasn't rubbing it in. Just to me, I was just so embarrassed. I was like, oh, like he's so right. Like, of course it works. So I take it to school. I'm going home. I start it up. Works fine. Go home. Then I'm going home for Easter weekend now. I'm at home for a bit. My brother is going home, and he says like, Andrew, like if your car's not going to start, come with me now. And I'm thinking in my head like, I don't really want to leave yet. My car was working earlier. I'm sure it's fine.
It's risky, but
Go ahead. And then finally I'm ready to leave. I go out to my car. It doesn't start.
Oh no.
Wow.
It doesn't start. I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, how could this happen? And
This
I
was
knew
Friday
for sure,
now?
like
the next day, like the
this is
Friday
the
or
next day,
Saturday.
Friday, yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, so mad at myself, like, you fell for it, whatever. And
They tricked me.
they got you. And anyway, to wrap this up, I'm decided to wait and just hang out for a bit. My roommate Josh, God bless him, really saved me here. Decides to take a look under the hood and he's like, oh yeah, looks fine. Goes to start it himself. Not working.
I was hoping it just turned
Yeah.
out.
Jimmy's the wheel.
Yeah.
and
you.
the gear shift, and it starts working.
Yeah.
And I was
I
like,
gotta
the
see
wheel.
this
what
in
the
person.
heck?
I'll
Like,
show you. I'll show you one day.
that's crazy that it worked. So then back to this bagel story. So it drove fine again. Then when I was at the bagel place, it wasn't work. It stopped working again. And
now you've got no money for repairs because
I
you
spent
screwed
it all.
out with $16.
But I had
Maybe it's because your car was really heavy from all the bagels.
yeah, maybe. I had a feeling that like that method that Josh told me is like, Jimmy the wheel and move the gear shift and it works. And then I talked to my mom's boyfriend about it, who's a mechanic, and it did work 5 minutes later, and I was able to drive home. And to top it all off, while I was coming to record this podcast, the car did not start at first, and I did the
Oh my gosh.
gear shift switch, and it worked. So my car is really on its last legs. I might have to do this for a long time. But what my mom's boyfriend said is that the model of my car, for those interested still, is sometimes there's a problem where the car thinks that it's not in park. So it
That's
thought
where the Jimmy comes in.
yeah. So like if you mess around with it, you get it to the right spot,
That's funny.
and that's exactly what
Wow,
happened.
what an idiot of a car.
Oh come on.
Well, no, that's such an idiot thing. Everyone knows when they're parked.
It can drive itself. Okay.
UCLA. He doesn't understand
Come on,
that.
Jimmy.
Yeah. So that's my car trouble story.
Yeah.
That's kind of potentially what inspired this episode. I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to make it.
Talking
But
about
luckily-
inspired episodes, I feel like a self-driving car would be perfect for lucid dreaming. Actually, like,
Be
you
the
could
ultimate
take a nap
time.
while driving.
Yeah, got my drive, got my pods on, my playlists, phone calls,
Got your drink in hand,
drink in hand, water.
hard or otherwise.
But I'd say driving is just such a part of, like, so today's Easter. Did we mention that at some point?
Yeah,
No, I
like
don't
many
think
times.
we
Easter night, so we're
No, I
all
don't think
celebrating
we
with our
did.
families.
No.
I have
I mentioned Passover.
a long drive to get back to close to my house
Yeah,
and to the
back to the
studio.
studio.
Yeah.
It's about a 2.5 hour drive. Just sending updates along the way.
I look forward to it.
I look forward to it. Like, that's a good number for me,
Same.
I think.
As long
Anything
as it's
longer is
an-
too
yeah,
much.
An easy 2.5 hour
Yeah,
drive.
but
I'm
today
completely fine with
today
that.
was tough. It was traffic. Like
Yeah, I had
that
traffic
was.
too.
It's just
Traffic
sometimes
is so much worse.
I don't really get road ragey, but I'll just feel like I want to get out of this.
Yeah.
Like
So my brother.
yeah, it's like almost like claustrophobia.
yeah, because
It's weird.
I agree.
It's like I have to like I can't be in this.
I got, and it's like
know
everyone
there's-
is thinking the same thing, but it's like no, me, I
Yeah.
need to go.
yeah.
Don't you see me? I'm in traffic.
I'm in a car. I'm
And
going.
then there's that one guy. You know what I hate?
There's always that guy.
That guy, like, this is kind of unrelated, but on the exit, when there's like a
Yeah.
really long exit, and the dude who just drives
Oh,
way
that's
up.
me, baby. And then he cuts.
Is that you?
Life hack. That's a life hack.
I hate it so
No,
much.
just
one of my favorite moments.
I'm sure
recently,
I've done it accidentally,
Yeah.
but
I've so I do this every day. I get off at this exit that's
Mm-hmm.
busy. It's like my commute is fine until I get to the exit when I get home.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw one of those people creeping in, and I was like, no way, not today. So I
I would honk.
I was right like in the spot, and I wasn't giving up ground. And
Yeah,
then-
I never try to give up ground.
And then they ended up trying to sneak in. I didn't let him in. The person behind me also doesn't let him
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I look to my right. It's this girl I distantly know from work. And I just looked at her like, yeah. And she must have thought I was tripping. But it's like, I don't
That's
know. I
funny.
think there's a nice camaraderie
Yeah.
on the road.
I
wanna-
so not the person you
She
were.
wasn't the one who cut me off, but
Oh.
she was on my side.
Yeah,
we were
okay,
in this
nice.
together.
You were
Oh,
boxing
jeez.
them out.
It was a lot
Nice,
of fun.
nice.
So I don't know. I don't road rage bad, but
Yeah.
camaraderie,
guys,
teamwork on the road is great.
Do you guys honk? I feel like I honk a lot.
I'm never
maybe
a
too
honker.
much.
Yeah, my friend told me once. I kind of agree with this now. I did honk maybe too much, but I honk when I see people, and then sometimes I honk like.
I
when
mean,
you see
honk out
people,
of-
that's fine. Like
Yeah,
friends.
no,
Yeah,
but sometimes,
I don't mean that, but that
sometimes
is
I
like-
honk in like a. I'd say the only time I honk is not when I'm mad, but is in like a. What are you doing?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
what are you
like me,
doing?
that's
That's
like
when
me.
I will honk.
And
See,
when I'm
I-
But my
mad.
friend said like the
Or
best
if the-
time to use your horn is never, and I feel
Yeah.
like that's like kind of true.
Pansy.
I flash
use
the
it-
light. That's what I'll do.
Yeah, that's a pansy move too. Yeah, that's fine. I feel like I honk too much, but
Probably.
I honk. I don't know if I'm mad.
Yeah, I don't honk when I'm mad.
If
I
it's a
honk
funny
when I
part
wanna
in the
be.
podcast, something like I'll laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Boop, 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 boop.
Nice.
Uh,
All right. Anyway, the last thing I want to say is that what you were talking about earlier with the 2.5 hour drive. For me, that number is like the 1.5, and that's because that's about the distance from my house to my college, and that's what my brother and I always said. Like every time you're in a long drive and you get to that hour and a half, maybe for you it's 2.5. That's pretty good. Yours is longer than mine. But when you're at a point where it's like, oh yeah, just the UMass trip, like that's
Yeah.
great, you know.
Yeah.
And some podcasts, like this
Yep.
podcast. We're almost at 60, you know?
Yep.
If you start this podcast, you got a 90-minute ride.
I'd say
You're almost done.
today's ride was a struggle. It was a 2 podcaster plus. I
Yeah,
hit
that's
2,
a lot.
and I
That's-
still had
yeah.
about 20 minutes to go. And
Honestly,
I was like, I threw on some music. But
Yeah, usually
Yeah.
after one, if it's because my drive from my apartment to where my parents are is like 2 hours about.
Mhm.
So I'll do one podcast and then I'll be like, I'll just put on music because usually I'm not going to finish the second podcast and I'm podcasted out from the first one.
Mhm.
So it's usually one and then music. If I'm going to go cycle through a podcast music, girl, that's a long drive.
hopefully I got a
Tell me
buddy.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like going podcasts like either our podcast or comedy podcast, then either music or like story podcast or a shorter one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But usually I can't do like more than 2 hours of podcast.
Here's a question for you guys.
yeah.
Say a 2 hour
Let's
drive.
get to ratings after
Yeah,
this.
right after this. So
Okay.
your sweet spot. Let's say your sweet spot, like an hour and a half, 2 hour drive.
Mhm.
Would you rather do it with another person or by yourself?
Well, I was just going to say, I feel like this whole thing is talking about podcast.
Driving by yourself.
Driving by
yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
I think if it's over 2 hours,
Yeah.
I want a person with.
Yeah, I agree.
Because the conversations you get on a long car ride,
Mhm.
you don't.
Yeah.
They're great.
I agree.
It's so weird. You
Yeah.
don't know where they're gonna
I
go.
think like I'm not gonna lie, like I've gotten home with my roommates sometimes we're all going to the same spot,
Mhm.
but like we either just don't talk or like someone falls asleep,
Yeah.
and then at that point like I don't
the
listen
same
to
thing.
my podcast. Like I like listening to my podcast through the radio, if that makes sense, in my own car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that point I'm not like upset, but I guess I would rather have like
I
just
agree.
gone by
Yeah.
myself.
I think for.
but I
that
agree
kind
with
of
I agree with that 2 hour limit. I think is good.
Yeah. Anything past that though.
I almost had to do I think I told you guys this. A car ride, a 4+ hour car ride with a complete stranger, basically one time.
Yeah.
And I was
That's what
still
it is.
like, kind of looking forward to the conversation. It's weird, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Mm.
It's nice.
It could be fun.
All right. Yeah. I always love talking to you guys about driving. Let's get to ratings. So for the listeners at home, we do our ratings on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and a yay or nay on if we will continue the hobby. Obviously, we will continue driving. So I will say that for the
We'll
yay
see.
or nay, this is going to be like would you be the guy to suggest driving? No. But that's what I was going to say is suggest driving like on a trip with friends. But that
maybe take the wheel.
Yeah, but you're still
Offer
in
to
the
take the
ride.
wheel?
You're still in the car. I feel like it's not just the drive.
exactly that's different. That's different than like
I feel like
driving.
if you find out I got to do a 2 hour ride, are you
Yeah.
gonna roll your eyes or are you gonna
embrace it.
grin?
Yeah.
Agreed.
And
Okay.
and it can be a light grin, I'd say.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, let's start with
Thank
you.
God.
I can
I don't know
start.
my number.
I wanted to start with a story that I didn't get to say.
All right.
I did a drive to Florida on my spring
Oh
break.
yeah, God,
27 hours each way, just me and one other person driving.
that was insane.
an
Why-
insane drive. But
That's great though.
something that Alex said earlier about just the things that come out during a long drive. There was on the way
Crazy.
back, we were all delirious from the drive. It was just me and a
Highway
friend.
hypnosis.
Yeah, me and a friend, and everyone else was asleep. We made a rule someone had to stay up with the driver just to make sure.
Good
that
rule.
everything
Yeah.
was okay.
Responsible.
And we were having some like great conversations.
Yep.
And it was good, and it was like I don't think that those would have ever came out.
Okay, well,
Without that
my
situation.
devil's advocate argument here is
Yeah.
that I think that like, and I've pitched this to you guys as well, but it's very risky. Is like when you don't sleep for a long time.
Yeah.
That's when some weird stuff
That's
really
true.
starts to happen, and I think that could have been part of it.
I agree
like
with that.
a long drive where you're like not sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Like if we go like
What do you
if,
mean you've pitched that to us?
as in like I've talked about doing an episode where
Oh,
we don't
sleep
sleep,
deprivation. Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
I don't want
it
you guys
kind of
to
impedes
die,
our
so,
like week.
yeah. Like
I'm about to take like a vacation, and I don't want to
like,
spend
yeah,
my vacation doing that.
But I've had to do it.
But obviously, I would
and
for the pod.
it for like schoolwork and stuff, and it is like it's really scary. Honestly, your brain is like you're just not yourself. It's like you're like on a drug or something. It's very strange.
But I'd say like it was cool to like it's.
But
cool
you're right
to,
about the
it's
conversation.
fun and it's the conversation like the talking about what's going on around you while you're there. That's fun. I'd say I looked forward to my commute, if that sounds weird.
Yeah, so you're saying you like road trips and commutes.
And like shorter commutes.
Yeah,
I'd say that summer where I was driving an hour each way every day was miserable. And at that point, I hated driving. I'd probably give it a 3 nay.
Yeah. Whoa.
But right now, where I am with driving, I enjoy all my drives. My girlfriend lives a little over an hour away, so when we go to visit each other, like it's kind of
just
I look forward to it. It's great, just that UMass trip. That's what I tell her every time. She says, "Who are you visiting? Who's your other UMass girl?" No, but I like driving, and I got a new car not too long ago. I enjoy it.
No starter problems.
No, yeah, it starts most of the time.
Hey, if you want the pro tip,
yeah.
Throw that baby in neutral when you start it. That's how it works every time for me now.
Yeah, if you want the pro tip,
yeah,
you got a 99 Jeep Cherokee. Right?
I do, yeah.
So that's how you do it.
But that being said, it's not a hobby of mine. I'm not a car guy. I'm not into like I wouldn't.
I don't even know what a starter is.
Yeah, so it's definitely not gonna be an insanely high rating, but I'll give it a 6.5. Yay!
Just like the speed limit, baby.
There we go. That's
6.5.
And heck, I'm driving faster than that, so I'll give it a 70.
I'm clocking out at 85 sometimes. 8.5.
All right, Alex. Wait, what did you actually give it? 6.5?
Hey, I'm cracking the speed limit. I'll give it a 7.
All right.
Let him finish the joke, for Christ's sake, Andrew. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think the not being a car guy is different. We're not doing cars as a hobby. We're doing driving. All right, Chris.
Sure. Okay. 10 out of 10.
Because I'm not a car guy either.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know. I think like when your roommate looked in the hood, did he know what he was doing? Like no,
that was interesting. Like
people fake that all the time.
He didn't know what he was doing, but like he had also been recently having car trouble, not with a Jeep, but like. I don't know. It's kind of like I feel like that's like a cool bonding thing.
I don't
like,
think I've ever popped my hood.
Really? You both look in the hood of your car and you're like, huh, like let's figure this out together. And like he did figure it out.
But I feel like you're bound to if you go for it and think, oh, this must be the problem. Let me fix this. You're gonna mess something up. You don't know enough. You know.
Oh, if you like tinker around, yeah, probably.
So what's the point? You're just taking a gander.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm not in the mood to gander.
You're like, there's still an engine here.
I remember actually. He said that. If there was like rust by the battery or something, then it could have be a problem starting it. But there wasn't any rust.
Sounds like baloney. Yeah, but yeah, I'm not. Whatever. That's cars. That's not driving.
Yeah.
That's cars. Driving. It's something about being in the car. It truly is like a security blanket. You're comfortable, even in traffic.
Safest place to be in the lightning storm. Classic.
Even in is that true?
Yeah,
that's great.
Your car is the safest place to be in a thunderstorm because you know.
Even my 95 Chevy convertible.
I remember that being like a thing that I was taught, but I couldn't remember if it was the most dangerous or the least dangerous.
No, it's great. I mean, you might get struck, but you're fine.
You mean my driving lightning rod of a car?
That's the point. You're inside.
Even like the road rage aspect of it, I feel like road rage is only a thing because people feel so safe and comfortable in their car. Mm-hmm. Like if I was walking down the street and someone cut me off, I wouldn't be like, "What are you doing? Where's your mind at?" Whereas when I'm in the car, I do that very often. You know?
I guess so. Yeah, I did have that What's on Your Mind about my road rage,
right?
Which is
and
strange.
I think that shows just the fact that road rage is a thing. The fact that that shows how like comfortable and safe people feel in the car.
Yeah.
And I am the same way. So yeah, I like it. It's a great hobby. I'm gonna go a little faster than Chris because I'm a bad boy. 7.5 mph, that is miles per hour.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh yay! Yay.
And there it is. All right.
The thing that I say when I make it to my destination safely because I don't text or drive or drink while I drive. Mm-hmm. Yay!
Just drinking water or seltzer.
Yep. Hard. All right.
Okay. All right. I will say that I really love driving. Like if gas was not a factor, this would be like a 9 for me. Not even kidding.
You're saying you get gas every time they drive, like.
gas prices, you mean?
No, like my
stomach issues.
Like the Chex Mix. And,
yeah, it just causes issues.
Yeah.
If
my car, the least safe place.
If my chronic IBS wasn't an ongoing factor in my life as a whole.
that plays into every Honda.
Yeah, every single rating. Like, well,
lucid dreaming.
I didn't want to bring it up again.
I gotta say, I slept pretty poorly last night, guys. I don't think I have to explain why, but I'm giving this one a nay.
We should have committed to that 80 episodes again.
All right. And ratings. You guys want to do ratings? Andrew's just like shaking his head. Can we skip it this week?
On his way to the bathroom.
Every episode. Yeah, that'd be insane. Luckily, I haven't brought it up till now. So, if gas was not a factor,
do you mean stopping
or
do you mean stopping to get gas or
paying for gas? Yeah,
and for like your car breaking down weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then I think it would be great. Like going on. I like what you said, Chris. The commute, the tranquilness of it. Throwing on a pod, hanging out just hanging out with yourself in your car, hanging out with your car, having a relationship with your car.
I'm not into that.
I like it. I like my car a lot.
I don't like when people are like, I don't know. Sometimes people get too into their cars.
Yeah, that's probably like I haven't named my car.
I don't know how to explain it.
But like when my car started when it wasn't working, I was like I knew you got my back.
If your car has a personality. Turn off our podcast.
I might disagree with you. I'm going to disagree with you. Turn off.
That's fine.
Mute Alex's mic.
It's fine.
But I like driving with friends. I like road trips. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm gonna go 8 out of 10. Yay.
Ooh, fast driver.
Nice.
Yeah. I know. 8 in a 6.5 zone. Am I right?
I don't like going above 80. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm not a fast driver.
Even if the traffic is moving above.
I know you
80,
said I have a fast car. I don't use it.
Yeah, go in the speed limit only.
Mm.
All right. But no, I agree. I always get uncomfortable. Like, oh man, I didn't even get to this, but I had so many horror stories when I first started driving, because I didn't know the left lane. You had to be going faster.
Oh, no.
People give me the finger. Oh god, I learned fast. Anyway, all right. Let's get to our next section of the show. It's called "What's on Your Mind." It is where we talk about what's on our mind. As always, we get a theme song for "What's on Your Mind," and this week's theme song comes from Open R. All right. Thanks for that one, Mr. R. So, let's get to what's on your mind, guys. This week, for the listeners at home, you guys are very familiar with what's on your mind. It's where we talk about what's on our mind. Mm-hmm. We wanted to change it up a bit this week.
Curveball coming in.
What? If any of the listeners have any suggestions for like a new version of what's on your mind, we'll spill the beans right now. This week's what's on your mind is going to be pet peeves.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, so we're talking like themed what's on, you know what I mean? Like
like
something that's on our mind about a topic, kind of.
Yeah, a themed what's on your mind. I guess pet peeves is I guess that's an example of it. I can't quite articulate.
There's got to be other subgenres to the what's on your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like different kind of subgenres that we can
like
get to.
How
we've
done like the business ideas. That's
one. Yeah,
thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's others.
Yeah. So if you guys have any suggestions for a kind of subgenre, we've been really dying to do this pet peeves one, so we're going to start off with this. Mm-hmm. But please email in. ineedahobbypod@gmail.com.
Yep.
All right. So, Alex, you have been talking about this pet peeve for a while.
This is a true pet peeve of mine that is actually driving related.
Okay.
But not just driving. It's more just like traffic and pedestrian related.
All right. Let's hear it.
Because it sometimes happens when I'm walking
mm-hmm.
or sometimes happens when I'm driving.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the right of way and you don't take it, you're a bad driver or a bad person. You See,
this is what I was hoping from this section. I was hoping they'd all, because mine too, like watch the fine line of like probably wrong.
I think I'm right about this.
I
get what you're.
I agree with Alex here.
The thing with driving or traffic in general,
like always stops.
You don't want to be nice. You have to be predictable, they say. So if this has happened to me well too often. In fact, I remember texting you guys saying, "Hey, we should do a pet peeves episode." Because this happened. I stopped to let someone go across the crosswalk that they were in, and they waved me on after I came to a full stop. Girl, you're in a stopwalk. It was a man. You're in a stopwalk, and you're already or a crosswalk, and you're already.
They thought it was a stopwalk.
You're already walking. Don't stop and wave a car. You're just doing the wrong thing.
See, this I might disagree with.
And it happens it happens, like you said, at a 4-way stop.
I think that's worse.
That's
four-way
bad.
stop
Now
people
there's
who
4
like are
people
always
in-
trying to let everyone go is like that's kind of rare. But
Mhm.
like I used to be afraid of being that like, oh, did I beat this guy? Like I don't know. I'm just gonna go for it because it's
Yeah.
better than just waiting
Right.
and
Take
like
the initiative.
yeah.
I'd say the only time I do things that maybe aren't the right of way is like I'll let like a runner or biker go when maybe it's not their turn.
That
Beca-
I think they have the. Well, maybe I don't know.
You know,
Wait,
it's,
what do
I
you
don't-
mean by that?
like the situation.
are you saying you let people go at a crosswalk?
Yeah, but one where maybe it's like I should still be going. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the right to go. Like in like a city or something where people
Okay,
might get a
okay.
little bit angry. But
yeah,
it's like
I see what
that
you
would
mean.
get me mad.
It's still
Which
you
is
still
fair.
shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I think.
I guess
but yeah.
sometimes.
But I've done
you know
that
what I mean?
too.
Because
Actually,
yeah.
I did that recently. Honestly,
Yeah.
Like sometimes if there's a lot of traffic coming and someone's trying to merge or get in,
Mhm.
I could understand stopping and letting them go.
Yeah.
But that's it. That I think is where it stops.
That's-
After that, people do it all the time. It gets me so mad.
wait. What do you
Mhm.
mean? You're saying you don't like to let people in?
No, I'm
Or
saying that's where it's
okay.
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 If you like, say
Someone's
it's
clearly
it's
in a screwy situation.
it's a crossroad. They're trying to take a left, so they have to go through 2 lanes.
Okay.
Mhm.
There's a bunch of traffic coming, and there's like not many people behind me, or even I don't. Yeah, I guess if there's not many people behind me, I'll stop and let them.
Yeah,
go
that makes
'cause I
sense.
know
That
there's
makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, if I have the right of way, I'm taking it because that's the safe thing to do. For Christ's sake.
I think you're right. The predictable thing is definitely true. Better to be predictable than nice when you're
Yeah,
driving.
I agree
Right.
with that.
Just-
I'm not trying to make any friends out
You know
there.
what? It happens outside of traffic too. People try to be nice when really they should just be assertive or do what they actually want, and it messes with society. It gets me so mad.
Oh, like in life?
Just in life.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I can't think of a really good example right now, but it happens. I swear. I guess because you know what? If people are being nice for a reason, that's great. But if you're being nice just to like think to yourself, I'm a nice person for that, then you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, that's another topic
Yeah.
in general, but I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't even like this section anymore. It's gonna
you
be too
you
worked
do seem
up.
pretty upset. All right, Chris, what is on your mind? What should we
Okay.
say? What is your pet peeve?
Sure. Here's what's on my mind. I was between a few of them, and this one's gonna be a little bit hard for me to describe, so bear with me. It is when you are wearing an outfit that's slightly different than something you might normally wear. Let's say,
Oh, I know where you're going
and
with this. I think.
having everyone say something
Oh,
about it.
I hate that so
Also,
Yeah, I
much.
hate that
also
a lot
the
as well.
inverse, which is maybe this is something that happens at my work, but also in like different situations, the expectation that you're supposed to say something, which I kind of feel sometimes.
Dang! Wow, you're right. So you're getting
particularly for me, I'd say it's my works. This happens mostly at my work. I'll say, the dress code is like casual, professional. Like you can wear jeans and a button up. Anytime I wear slightly nicer pants, someone's saying something.
But you're right.
But-
if you're in the other situation, you might feel pressure to say something.
And sometimes I do,
Yeah, that's
but
pretty good.
I guess I'm wondering, like,
I
if
think
other do you feel that same kind of pressure?
I know exactly what
Or
you're
also
saying.
even I just like I get nervous when I like buy a new jacket. Like, am I gonna have to
exactly.
explain this thing?
Exactly. It's like this weird anxiety.
Am I gonna say, yeah, I tried it on
And
I
it's more than
thought
just
about it.
it's more than just clothes. Like it
Yeah.
happens with
with
everything.
haircuts,
Even if you bring up something like
growing facial hair.
like I've got this little beard action.
Uh.
It's been happening to me all week.
Yeah.
But that's why I think it's okay to say something, but it's what you say.
Yeah.
Like if you see someone with
That's
a new
true.
jacket, you just have to know exactly
Yeah.
what to say.
One of my least favorite things is, like, why'd you dress up
yeah,
today?
it's like
I don't
like
know.
you clearly don't approve.
My
Like,
running joke, joke that I make every time to avoid the situation is say like, oh, that's when you know it's laundry day when I'm wearing these pants.
Yeah, that's good. I like to say like, just making
Nice.
sure
But
people
then,
are paying attention.
but then the problem is I make that joke once
Yeah.
every 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Mm.
It's not
I
always
don't know.
laundry
It's
day.
like you just have to not care.
Good
but you're
pet
right.
peeve.
Yeah.
Very frustrating.
Yeah, I agree. That's another frustrating one.
That's why I like maybe they'll start adopting to the Mark Zuckerberg life. He only wears like one shirt or something.
But then it'll get even worse because if I see
Yeah,
Mark
that's true.
Zuckerberg with a collared shirt, I'm freaking out. You know,
yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna
true.
say something.
You'd really have to commit, and that is certainly
Yeah.
not worth it.
I think
Jeez.
I don't know. I think you just have to not care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bound to happen. It's not a big deal, right? People are just trying. The first one you said, what was the, oh, you dressed up today? That's not great.
'Cause I
but
think-
like if someone's like, oh, nice, cool shirt or something,
Yeah.
like just take it in stride. I think that's fine. It's
Yeah.
very good
Yeah.
intention.
I think you just have
I'd
to
probably
like,
be okay with it.
Yeah.
you have to like
I'd be okay with
completely
Mm-hmm.
disassociate
Yeah.
with yourself. Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
they're just saying something, so it's like because I
Yeah,
don't know, just be like, yep, okay, or like
Yeah.
just act like
That's
they
true.
just happened to say something.
Because I
Doesn't matter.
had a roommate in college who wore a suit a lot. Like it was just kind of a part of his like thing.
What?
Which
you
is
gotta
kind of
say
weird.
something to that.
And you got to say something to it, but like he must have been so comfortable with this whole situation.
yeah.
Like he's I don't know why
That's
he
why
did
I think
it.
this like I get comments on this beard, but
Yeah.
I think it's making me a better person overall because now I don't care about the comments
Yeah,
on the
that's right.
beard.
You're getting used to it.
So it's like if I wore a
Maybe I'll start with
stupid
me. Yeah,
shirt
maybe I'll
one
start.
day,
Yeah, start wearing.
It's like I'm not as insecure anymore. You
start
know?
wearing like a shirt with a stain on it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys. Here's my pet peeve for the day. It is one that gets me really upset, but maybe I guess that's what a pet peeve is, but maybe it doesn't get other people upset. Irish goodbyes. What do you guys think about Irish goodbyes?
I like Irish goodbyes. I think I could be an Irish.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Anytime I'm seeing someone that I haven't seen in a little while or something, or I'm at a party and I'm talking to, not like, if I'm talking to people I don't know and they go somewhere else, totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm seeing like a friend that I haven't seen in a while, or I'm like with a friend.
And can you explain an Irish goodbye for the fans at home who aren't Irish?
With a friend at a party, and they just leave. That's what it is. An Irish goodbye is just someone just leaves without saying goodbye. Basically,
Mm-hmm.
you just you're with them 1 second, and then the next thing you know, they have left.
They've updated their Snap story and they're in bed, tucked in.
Yeah, and it isn't something like you didn't come with them. You didn't come with them to the place. Like you saw them there. Oh, what's up? So good to see you.
Oh, so you're thinking specifically with you, because I'm thinking an Irish goodbye is like, you know how if you're at like a family party or a work party, like, you say your goodbyes when you leave.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think an Irish
like
goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
I think an Irish goodbye is not saying any goodbyes. Are you saying specifically
no, I hate
to
that
you?
too. No, in general.
Okay.
I would hate that as well. Like if for Easter today, like one of the guests who I'm not like super friendly with just like left without saying goodbye to like my mom or my family,
Yeah.
I would be upset. Yes, I'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
like say goodbye to people when you
know.
leave.
You're
Like,
right. I think you're
don't
right.
just like sneak out.
But think about
Why
how
are you
easy.
doing that?
Think about how easy the Irish goodbye is.
'Cause
Like
some
if you're at a
people's-
work party, saying goodbye at
Yeah.
a work party is like
It's
that gives me
it's a chore.
anxiety. Oh my god.
No, that's the thing. Like some people's pet peeve is like probably like fake or like having to go through like the formality of goodbyes. But I like that. I think that's like there's nothing fake to me about like saying goodbye to my friends or something. Whereas some people I feel like
I also think
they can't be like.
I think it's a situation.
I think it's.
you know,
I think
they hate it.
an Irish goodbye is more often done when it's not friends though. It's like acquaintances. So it's like it's an uncomfortable thing.
Okay,
have to
that
do.
one I'm okay with. I guess I'm talking like an Irish goodbye, like in a scenario like with us or something. If I were to meet you guys and we all go to a bar, and then next thing I know, Alex has gone home.
Yeah, that would be
without
frustrating
saying
for
anything.
Sure. I would get
be
mad at that
I would
too.
be upset.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
I don't like it. I don't
yeah,
like it
that
at
would
all.
get me. I don't know. I feel like that's very rude.
That's the thing, but
Yeah.
like a lot of people just like don't. Like, oh, I don't like saying goodbye or something. I
That's
don't like
weird.
saying goodbyes.
Is that like a life outlook kind of thing? Like I don't want to say goodbye. I want to say see you later.
See you
Yeah.
next time.
See you again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. With
I don't
that.
know. I just hate it. Oh man, it gets me so mad. But anyway,
It feels nice. It feels like I'm venting.
Yeah.
I like this pet
the
peeve.
pet
section.
peeve thing. Yeah,
Maybe
it's
we
good,
just
it's
make
good.
you pet peeves.
Oh yeah, we got plenty more. We could do pet peeves
Yeah.
again. We should.
I have another traffic related one actually.
Oh,
I'll
God.
save it for another.
Save it for the
All
pod.
right. Anyway, that is it for what's on your mind.
Yeah.
Chris, are you ready to hit us with the plugs?
Yeah, sure. First off, we'll start. We talked about this
Ooh.
beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah. Say it first, but I have another thing to add.
Well, this is pretty important, so maybe you say yours first.
We're on Spotify.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
We're on Spotify,
We're
baby.
on Spotify, so
Yeah, if you made it
listen to
this
us on
far, we
Spotify.
should open the next episode with this too.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
We're on Spotify.
Well, I
It's
don't want to
pretty
give
cool.
any free advertising. They got to pay us if they want.
Pretty cool. So
talk
search
about
I Need a Hobby on Spotify.
Yeah, it was
the
a lot easier than we thought.
The thing I was going to say that unfortunately we got one episode on. This is our last episode.
Yep.
I Need a Hobby. Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, Spotify.
Hey, April Fools.
What?
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's recorded on April Fool's, so
Yeah,
that
sorry,
joke.
yeah.
makes
This is gonna be
sense.
great for
It's
the
2 days old. I wanted to include a few April Fools jokes.
for the one person who
I hate
listens to
April
this
Fools.
like in 2019.
Crashed my car on the way here. Just kidding.
I hate April Fool's so much.
That's a good pet peeve. Is
Such a
April
fake
Fool.
holiday.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No fools today.
But I guess
I did find
It
some
is-
Easter eggs with no candy in them. I got fooled there.
All right,
Just a
that was
yolk.
another. All right, what I'll say it. Whatever. Just let's
Let's
end
get
this
out of here.
podcast. I
It's
wanna go
late.
to bed.
April Fool's isn't that bad. I think a good April Fool's joke is good, but sometimes
Yeah.
it's just too much.
I agree. I agree.
Rate and review us.
When they're good, they're good. When they're bad,
Shop us on Amazon.
Yikes.
I need a hobbypod.com/ You guys can continue
Yeah,
talking
but-
if you want /
Yeah,
Amazon.
we're good.
And yeah, find us on Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Keep listening.
Keep listening. Thank
Yep.
you.
see you next week.